As someone who works full time with the commute and has a family to take care of, you don't have time or energy to devote hours in the kitchen trying to whip up dinner for the family. That's exactly why I created my ultimate kitchen guide for quick and easy meals. In this guide, you'll find a list of foods that you should have on hand in your kitchen on a regular basis, along with tips on how to put things together on your plate to create a balanced anti inflammatory meal. Imagine a world where you can come home and whip up a healthy meal in like 20 to 30 minutes and still have time to kick your feet up on the couch and catch up on your shows before bed. Yes, it's not a dream, it's your new reality. All you have to do is head to www.betterwithcarbo.com/guide and grab your free copy today. That's betterwithcarbo.com/guide. Get ready for healthier meals with less kitchen stress.
It can be really easy to get lost in external influences and end up doing things because of what we see on social media or what our families and friends want us to do. Recognizing that and challenging ourselves to think deeper is tough work. It is. But at the end of the day, you not only find yourself with a more compelling reason to keep up with your hard work, but it also helps you keep focused so that you're prioritizing the things that are aligned with your why.
I'm Krissy Carbo, registered dietitian and host of the Inflamed in the Brain podcast. Here we cut through the confusion and complexity of inflammatory health to deliver straightforward, bite-sized strategies and information you can easily apply to your life. Not too long ago, I was lost in a sea of information, overwhelmed by the challenges of inflammation. But through years of trial, education, and self-discovery, I learned to break free from the chaos of fad diets and cultivate a practical anti-inflammatory lifestyle that not only helped me stabilize my own diagnosis, but thrive with it. Whether you're an autoimmune warrior or simply seeking a healthier, uncomplicated life, you found your tribe. Join me as we explore realistic strategies that can make a profound difference in your life. So if you're ready to embrace a simpler, healthier way of living, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's dive in, learn, and grow together. Welcome to the Inflamed in the Brain podcast. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Inflamed in the Brain podcast. My name is Krissy. I'm your host and friendly neighborhood dietitian. And today is going to be a little different. Today we're going to be talking about how to define and validate your authentic why. What is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? It's really important to find your why because a lot of what we talk about on this podcast involves creating new habits that we could sustain long term. And I don't think this is said enough, but there is no endpoint to what we're trying to cultivate here. No one's ever like, woo, I ate more vegetables, I lowered my CRP, I lowered my cholesterol. Now I can stop eating all those vegetables. It's not how nutrition works. The true time span of any health goal that we're trying to create or any health habit that we're trying to incorporate into our daily lives is for the rest of our lives. Our main goal here is to promote health, to live a lengthy, full life without any kind of major complications that could impede on living said full life. And in order to promote health, we need to create and sustain habits that align with our goals. And let's be real, creating and sustaining habits can be a really hard thing to do, and having an authentic why can keep you going and staying consistent with those habits when things get hard because they will get hard. Anytime you break habits and routines in order to create new healthy ones, it's uncomfortable and it's natural to feel discomfort. It's natural to feel like things are hard when you're trying new things, but having your why and going back to your why time and time again when things feel hard will keep you going and help you stay consistent. And I just want to clarify that having a why is different from having motivation. You can have a really good and personal why and still lack motivation. Motivation comes from taking action, it's a consequence of action. Many people still think that it's the other way around, that you need motivation in order to take action, but no. When you take action, even when you don't want to, that creates a really good feeling. And that good feeling is what prompts motivation to keep you going. So, for example, let's just say that you told yourself you would go to sleep by 11 p.m. Just taking the smallest action of getting your butt in bed by 10:30 motivates you to do it again tomorrow and the next day. And then you find yourself getting in bed by 10:15. And again, you feel good, you keep doing it. That action leads to good feelings, which creates and builds motivation. Having a good why reinforces that motivation. It's like a little boost to your motivation that'll keep you going when you're getting to bed on time feels damn near impossible. Because it will on some days. A strong why goes beyond a basic answer like, I want to go to bed on time because I don't want to feel tired. A strong why goes beyond this. What happens when you feel tired? I want to go to bed on time because I want to have enough energy to play with my kids. Why is it important to play with your kids? You want to have a good relationship with your kids. Your why to going to bed on time is more than just about feeling tired the next day. Your why for going to bed on time becomes I want to go to bed on time because I want to be present and work on fostering a strong connection with my kids. A strong why goes deeper than surface level justifications and brings positive impacts that align with your core values. Sure, feeling tired might be a reason, but you've handled tiredness before. You've functioned while feeling tired before. You know how to function while feeling tired. But feeling tired isn't a compelling enough reason to keep going, which is why you don't go to bed on time all of the time. You haven't found that foundational, deep why. Why is going to bed so important? Again, you can function while you're tired, but what you can't get back and what matters more than feeling tired is time and memories with your kids. What truly matters more than feeling tired is your commitment to nurturing a lasting bond with your kids. Being present for them is crucial and creating a sense of security that extends through a lifetime. That is why you go to bed on time. Your why is the reason behind your actions, your goals, your aspirations, all of the things that you do. So, for today, I want to talk about how to find your strong, authentic why that goes beyond surface layer reasoning so that you can stay consistent in maintaining those new health goals. And I'm really glad that you're here with me to talk about it because if you've ever felt like it's really hard to maintain those goals, you can start them, you can stay consistent for a little while, but you tend to fall off and it's hard to get back on the horse. This episode is for you. So I'm really glad that you're here. And I want to start today by explaining what your why should not be, right? So, your why should not be fear based. I think it's natural to consider the consequences of what could happen if you don't take action in an effort to do better. But you don't want fear to be at the forefront of why you're doing what you're doing, because if it is, you end up making really drastic changes that leave you feeling stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. For example, when I was first diagnosed with MS, I was really, really scared. There are a few different types of MS, and some forms progress faster than others. And I was told that there really wasn't a way to know which type of MS I had other than just waiting to see what happens if I have any other flares. This terrified me. I felt like I was just waiting to feel more symptoms that would cause me to decline rapidly. It was like just waiting to get slapped in the face with a ton of bricks, just waiting for something bad to happen. So, to prevent that kind of bad thing from happening, I started to make really drastic changes. I was cutting out a bunch of foods that even smelled inflammatory. I stopped going out to restaurants because I couldn't control the quality of the ingredients of the food. I tried making everything from scratch, and I mean everything: ketchup, mayonnaise, cereal, you name it. If I felt any kind of tingling or numbness in my leg, or if my arm fell asleep or something, I would immediately think that it was because I indulged in a bite of my husband's sandwich that had gluten in the bread or something. I would literally start panicking. I was like, I did this to myself. I should have known better. I should have known not to take a bite out of his sandwich. I mean, it was stressful and I was anxious a lot because I wanted to do everything right and I wanted to do everything that I could to prevent my diagnosis from progressing. And again, I think my why for not wanting to progress to disability is valid. When I was diagnosed, I was 21 years old and I wanted to live a normal life. I wanted to have kids. I didn't want to burden those around me to take care of me. I wanted to be independent. But the idea of what could happen in the future scared the crap out of me. And it caused me to be more stressed and anxious on the regular. And that stress and anxiety was not only detrimental to my health, but it also pushed that perfectionism mentality. I only thought in absolutes. I labeled food as bad and even my favorite foods, which caused even more stress and caused me to binge on those inflammatory foods, exposing myself to more inflammatory triggers. So, with that said, you want to make sure that your why lifts you up instead of bogging you down. I shifted my why from I'm scared to progress to disability to I want to have kids and I want to be able to physically keep up with them. You also want to make sure that your why aligns with your values and who you are as a person. Your values are fundamental beliefs that guide your decisions and your actions. They shape who you are and they guide you in all the decisions that you make in your life. Examples of your values could be something like you value family, respect, privacy, connection. Your values are things that hold deep significance to you. I value my independence and I value time with my family, which is why I do what I do. And when things seem to get hard, like when I feel like I don't have enough time or energy to get things done in a day and I need to reprioritize my time, these values help me in prioritizing what I need to do with my time in order to move towards that constant state of independence and in order to keep time with my family at the forefront. When your why aligns with who you are and your values, it makes it unique to you and it allows for a smoother and more purposeful health journey. And when your health journey has a strong purpose, it builds resilience. So you're more likely to stick with those new habits when change gets tough. So, what do you have to do in order to find your strong, authentic why? What are some questions that you can ask yourself to make sure that your why is strong and authentic to you? Well, first, you want to ask yourself what matters most to you in this world. The answer to this question lays the foundation for a strong why. So take a moment, reflect on the people, values, and experiences that hold the utmost significance in your life. Is it your family, self care, courage, respect, or something entirely different? Consider your core values and the principles that resonate with the basis of who you are as a person. The connection between your health goals and what matters most to you enhances the commitment, making it more likely for you to stay dedicated to those new health habits long term. It also creates this emotional connection that acts as a driving force that pushes you to overcome difficulties and stay on course in the long term when things get hard. Your why is at the center of what matters most to you. And because it's personal and significant, it naturally helps you stay more consistent in taking action to improve your health. Once you've done some digging to figure out what truly matters to you, ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing until you run out of valid answers. So, we did this a little bit earlier in the episode with the example of feeling tired. When you ask yourself why until you feel like you can't really ask yourself why anymore, this will bring you to the core of your motivations. For example, if my goal is to lower inflammation, I would ask myself, why do I want to lower inflammation? My answer would be to maybe, well, not maybe, but my answer is to avoid disease brought on by chronic inflammation. Why is that important? Because I want to live as long as I can. And why is that important? Why is living as long as you can important? It seems like a silly question, but I want to live as long as I can because I want to be with the people that I love for as long as possible. So, my why for lowering inflammation isn't just to support my own health, but the true and deeper why behind what keeps me practicing my health habits, even on the days where it's really hard and I just don't feel like doing it, is because I want to spend as much time on this earth with my family as possible. And finally, you want to ask yourself, what would your future life look like if you were consistent in meeting your health goals every day? If my goal was to be asleep by 11 p.m. every single night, what would my life look like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, if I met or supported that goal every day? What would my life look like if I met or supported my goal every day? The answer to this question requires you to visualize what your future would look like and ultimately reveals a truer and deeper understanding of why you're doing what you're doing today. So again, I'll just make the goal of going to bed on time personal to myself. So if I wanted to go to bed at a decent hour, it's not just to feel tired or to not feel tired the next day, but I want to be the mom that is able to play with her son, that can chase her son and keep up with her son. So the truer, deeper reasoning of why going to bed on time is so important is not just to feel tired, it's to build those core memories with my kid. This mental image of what your future would look like becomes a catalyst for motivation, and it pushes you to stick to those health habits. The clear picture helps you to figure out the specific things that you need to do each day to live out your main purpose. Also, asking yourself this question makes you look at your current habits from a more realistic perspective, and it helps you prioritize things. So you can compare the life you imagine in the future with how you're actually living right now. And by doing this, you can see where things don't match up and then take that and make some changes. This process helps you stay motivated and consistent because your daily habits are now intentional steps towards your big goal, right? So, like, if I'm not going to bed on time because my habit is to just stay up and watch Netflix till midnight, I can take a step back and say, this is what I want my future to look like. This is currently how it's looking like right now. I'm staying up watching Netflix and I'm feeling really tired. And all I'm doing all day the next day is waiting for my sun to go down so that I can get a break. So it helps you kind of compare what you're doing now, what you want to happen, and it can help that thought process of, okay, well, what do I need to do to get to where I want to be? So, thinking about how your daily habits align with your main purpose helps you stay focused and build a lifestyle that truly reflects your values and your health goals. It can be really easy to get lost in external influences and end up doing things because of what we see on social media or what our families and friends want us to do. Recognizing that and challenging ourselves to think deeper is tough work. It is. But at the end of the day, you not only find yourself with a more compelling reason to keep up with your hard work, but it also helps you keep focused so that you're prioritizing the things that are aligned with your why. You're prioritizing the things that align with what truly matters to you. And remember, you want to also allow for some flexibility here, and the way that you get flexible is by removing the fear from your why. Just because your goal is to go to bed on time doesn't mean you can't ever go out for drinks after a really hard week. As with all things health related and health goal, health habit related, you don't want to white knuckle your why. You don't want to work in absolutes. You don't want to promote perfectionism. You don't want to hold those whys so tight that it takes away from your life right now. And I think it would kind of lessen your why if you did white knuckle or try to be perfect in all of the things that you do. Just saying to the example of going to bed on time, you don't want to avoid all social occasions and special events because you have a strict 11 p.m. bedtime, even if your why is to spend more time with your kids. You also need that time to yourself in order to feel more connected and engage with your kids. So please be flexible. I really hope that you found some value and some insight in this episode. I promise, once you really dig deep and identify why you're doing what you're doing, the real core reason of why you're doing what you're doing, it'll make sticking to those new health habits a lot easier. I know that it is so challenging, especially in the beginning when you're used to doing things a certain way your whole life, and now you're trying to rework that, even if it is for your health. Your health is important enough, but digging deeper into why your health is so important to you and visualizing what life would look like if you resolved all of your health issues, that is what's going to get you through those hard days when you have those hard days. Not if you have those hard days, when you have those hard days. So please reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Better with Carbo. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your whys are. Why are you doing what you're doing? What gets you through those really gritty, hard days? If you found value in this episode, please share with a friend who can also benefit and leave a review. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our anti-inflammatory goodness. And please check out the show notes for some recommendations for related episodes. Until next time, same place.